Welcome to another episode of MAXS MuscleTV podcast. I am your host, Scott GOBLE. I'm joined once again by my good friend, Mr. Luke SCHEMBRI. Welcome, Luke.
Scotty.
And we are joined by a very special guest, an IFBB Bikini Pro, an entrepreneur, a part-time Team GOBLE client, a chicken farmer, a wife, and most importantly, Kendall's mum. Welcome, Kirra Longmuir. How are you, Kirra?
Hi guys. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, Kirra. How are the chickens? The chickens in Kendall, these things seem to be the nearest and dearest to your heart. How is everything in the household?
Look, they're a full-time job. I haven't let the chickens out this morning, so I've still got to do that after this. Let them have a run around. They'll be really pissed off that it's later than usual.
No eagles, no eagles or hawks in the sky today.
No, I was actually thinking winter is a calm time for me. It really relaxes my anxiety, brings the levels down. Because in summer, it's game on. I'm like Kira Irwin. My friends call me Kira Irwin because I'm literally like wrangling pythons out of the chicken pen, foxes, hawks. Hawks are the worst. They just come down and rip them apart.
Wow.
But yeah. And I've had eagles as well. I do live in the suburbs. I don't live in the bush.
Wow, we've sort of accidentally stumbled onto this topic, but I'm actually fascinated by the python wrangling. Luke's got a story about chasing a rogue possum, which is rather amusing. But
I've caught many pythons, brown snakes, black snakes. I've done it all as a firefighter.
Very good. Wow, there you go.
Lace monsters
hey, Kira,
too.
is this the are they pets or is this the future food source so you don't have to go shopping?
Yeah, no, I don't eat, I eat chicken, but I don't eat my pet chickens. Yeah.
Okay.
My brother's actually dating a Filipino girl and she's like, oh, do you pluck them and eat them? I was like, absolutely not. Like, keep my eye on you while you're over my house.
Are they good egg producers at least?
They are. I get about a carton a day, which is good.
Wow.
Because it feeds the fam. Yeah, because it's amazing how many eggs you go through when your whole family love sort of working out and training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, as much as we're enjoying the farming-related conversation, we should probably move on to things a little bit more fitness-orientated. Kira, you have recently... Yes, exactly. You have recently become an IFBB Pro, and you have made your pro debut. Tell us a little bit about it. I mean, we're skipping ahead. We will go into a little bit of history and everything else, but how was it stepping on stage in the big leagues?
Yeah, it was probably more than what I expected, to be honest. Like, the productions, the shows and everything, the way they do things was just that next level. And they just really, I guess, you felt that kind of respect over there. I feel like in Australia, we're just sort of starting out with the pros and bringing in the pros more. Like, we don't have enough pros here to have a pro show, but over there, like, they're very well respected. And the first show I did was the Texas show, and it was like the biggest pro show they'd had in a long time. And just even the check-in, they got us up on stage and called us out one by one. We got to go shake the judges' hands, and it was just like a really nice sort of feeling that it was like almost like showing the audience who we are. And that's when we got to meet Laura Lee as well. So that was really special. Got a photo with her, and it just felt like that next level sort of respect was coming through. And then even the next day with like the NPC amateur girls, they sort of all really admire and respect the pros. And I felt like I was sort of one of them. I was like, hello, like getting the photos with the pros. Like, it was really nice.
And what did you think, Kira? Was a bit of imposter syndrome was there? You couldn't believe that you're in the pro ranks, still thinking that maybe you're an amateur and seeing people that you look up to and then you're competing against them. How did that feel?
Yeah, it's a little bit surreal because it's almost like seeing celebrities because you see them online all the time and then you spot them in person, you know who they are, but they don't have no idea who you are. But like I don't get fangirly or anything. Actually, Charlie and I actually had a really funny thing happen. We were in the elevator and there was this big bodybuilder in there and we're like, oh, hello. It was a male. And we're like, hi, like, are you competing this weekend? He's like, oh, no, like, I'm training for Olympia. We're like, oh, congratulations. That's awesome. And then like we're walking to our room and he was staying right next to us. And I was like, oh, if you need a microwave, they let you have a microwave. He's like, they better give me a microwave. I was like, I thought that was really good. Like, I can't believe it. He goes, and then Charlie was like, oh, what's your name, mate? And he goes, oh, Aaron. And he goes, oh, hi, Aaron. It was Aaron Banks.
Former Mr. Olympia.
Charlie was calling him Aaron. And we didn't realize till we got back to our room. He's like, oh my God, that was Aaron Banks. I feel so bad.
Oh,
but he went and said it later. He's like, I'm so sorry. I called you Aaron. I've realized who you are now. And he was all cool about it. He was like, no worries. But funny. Yeah. Shame.
Well, we have skipped ahead a little bit, Kirra, but maybe we will bring it back. You've obviously been in the fitness industry for a little while, but relatively new to the IFBB, the NPC stage. Tell us how you started off competing, shall we, rather than bodybuilding?
Yeah, well, okay, like competing in shows. I actually started out when I was about 18, 20 years old. I started doing like bikini comps in pubs, and it was more for the money attracted me. There was prize money. So you did sort of similar walks on the stage. You did like a club wear, a sports wear, and then a bikini wear. And they would be like Friday, Saturday night. So I'd work all week and then do them on the weekends. And the prize money was actually really good, like $3,000 first prize, then like $1,000 for second, $500 for third. So over the years, I've probably made about 20 grand doing those.
Wow.
They'd fly you for like national shows and stuff. You'd fly down to Sydney and go against girls from all over Australia. Things like Miss Indy, they made up names for them, Miss Hawaiian Tropic and things like that. Zoo, the Zoo magazine. I was one of those zoo girls. But they had zoo comps as well. And yeah, that's sort of how I got started. And then my mum actually did figure for 10 years. She would do 10 comps a year. She just did every federation. And she's like, you know what? You look like the bikini girls. You should just go on one of those. I was like, I think you got to have abs for them, Mum. And she's like, no, just give it a crack. And back then, bikini looked like what Fit Model does now these days. Yeah. So it was very much, like your streamlined sort of entry level for bodybuilding. And we did really well. We went to Muscle Mania in Vegas and things like that together. We traveled around Australia together. It was a really fun time. And then, I sort of thought I'd finished bodybuilding. And then 10 years later, after having my baby, I got in contact with Scott. And I sort of was like trying to prove myself to him as well. And just say like, I used to be like an old school bodybuilder as well. I did all the hardcore ways of bodybuilding, like broccoli and chicken, not tracking macros, water loading as a bikini girl. But he's like, all right, you're hardcore, I'll take you on.
And back then, Kirra, for those pub contests, so just to set the scene, you were already well into your training back then?
Yeah, but training was like, I would do 10-kilometer runs every day and very lightweight. I wasn't really doing what I am now. Like now it's very minimal cardio, but obviously lifting heavier and things like that and more focused on weight training. But I definitely feel like how I was training before was harder than what I'm doing now. And I think that's sort of what built my resilience in bodybuilding as well. I feel like everything I did before was harder than what I'm doing now. So it almost made it easier.
That is a pretty common theme for you and our preps of you feeling like you could be doing it tougher, which is unusual. And I do think I noticed that with the people who've got a little bit more life experience. I think how difficult things are is in relation to how difficult the things are that those people have gone through previously. So obviously there's been adversity in your life in the past and you do make it look relatively easy, the bodybuilding aspect of it now. Do you put that down in part, obviously, to previous experience, but do you think it's a byproduct of things external to bodybuilding, like your businesses and parenting and all of that sort of stuff? Because I think parents make bodybuilding look easier. Like in my experience, the mums, they barely complain. They're sort of like, oh, I'm tired, but this is nothing like when I had a newborn or,
Yeah.
It's all that sort of stuff. Like, how much of it do you think is your bodybuilding past and how much of it is just life experience?
Yeah, definitely. Everything around, like my whole environment has built me up to being as resilient as I am, I think, because owning your own business, you're relying on yourself and you're, having to turn up and no one's making you be there. So, and that's what I think people do a lot wrong when they start a business. They think, oh, I'll just go in when I have a client, or I'll just open at whenever time and only do a couple of hours here and there, but you're never really going to get ahead. Whereas I was showing up on Sundays and, working 60 hours a week, and I was on my own. Yeah. So when you've got no one else to rely on, you just build that resilience. You harden up, I guess. And yeah, like you said, mothers don't complain because we're used to lack of sleep. So, and I think the fact that people do complain a lot, you kind of think, am I meant to be feeling worse? Like, am I not feeling bad enough? Like, what am I doing wrong?
So your mother must have had a big impact on you at home. Were you sort of following in your mother's footsteps from a young age with things like the nutrition she was following, or was it always separate? Because if you're looking up to a role model like that who's doing 10 shows a year, which is huge, which is massive, I mean, bodybuilding has been a big part of your life for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, like when I contacted Scott, I was like, back then, coaches weren't really a thing. Like I'm talking like, I would have been like maybe 22. I'm 39 now. So, yeah, I think they weren't really a thing. So my mum really didn't know anything about nutrition or anything. It was all like very basic, like, yeah, chicken and rice cakes. Yeah. And she
Good
was a bit
old
of
school
vegetarian too.
bodybuilding
So
diet.
she she'd mainly eat eggs.
So how has the nutrition changed? I mean, obviously you largely macro track. You're not a big food plan person. How has it changed? Like, I mean, do we feed you more now? I'm not sure what you were doing in the past. But yeah, like give us a little bit of insight. Do you lock it in terms of a food plan based off of your macros? Do you wing it a little bit day to day? Tell us how you go about it, because I literally just give you macro targets and you do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think people will be slightly disgusted in the fact that I am very, very unprepared. And some days I will just grab one of the pre-prepped sort of macro meals from the gyms, which is not bad in my eyes, but some people would literally gasp at that. But it's whatever works. You got to make it work into your life as well. And I think that's why I don't find it that hard. I just sort of make it work for me. And yeah, I always have this sort of Delulu way of looking at life that things would just work out, and it normally does. But yeah, like I would be horrified to track my macros back then. I probably was eating like under 1,000 calories easy to do the shows that I was doing.
Yeah, well, I think you raise a good point. Like it is a case of just bringing it back to basics and not sweating the small stuff. Like, in bodybuilding, I find that 90% of the time I'm trying to convince my clients that they don't need to worry about that 1% nuancy supplement timing or anything like that. And they literally just have to control their calorie intake and make sure they burn their calories, and then they'll be in a deficit. And you are absolutely an example of that working, because that's what you do. You control your calorie intake, you control your calorie expenditure. The body will figure it out from there. So you did level up a lot from the first competition to our second competition season. You leveled up a lot. I mean, granted, I was devastated at the time where you told me you didn't want my off-season coaching and you were going to move on to another trainer. But you came back with some gigantic glutes and made some amazing progress. So tell us a little bit about the way you handled your off-season and how you did go from. And you went from an overall title, like you were in an overall, Mel Fletcher took the pro card the season previously, to taking the overall in unanimous fashion at season 8. What was it about your off season that allowed you to level up so much? Because you did bring a whole new level of development, in particular in the lower body.
Yeah, I think just when I come out of shows, I like to just peel back all the stress and just get back to normal life. And I think just really enjoying training again, and yeah, just giving it all and just not having to focus on tracking my food. That's probably my main horror when it comes to prep, is just, I've got to measure everything. It's annoying. But I am really good at it. I don't actually need scales sometimes with certain foods.
Apparently.
I forgot. Yeah. I still sometimes chuck like a raw bit of chicken on, like that'll be like 80 grams, and it comes up 80. I'm like, yeah, I should take a photo for Scott.
Still got it. Still got it. Yeah.
But yeah, so in off season, I'll roughly track my food and what I generally would eat on a normal day. And then you know, if it's sitting around the 2,200 calorie mark, I'm like, okay, that's sort of what I would eat. I don't know. I just sort of had a really good intuition to knowing that I'm not overeating. I'm not a big overeater, or I am a sweet tooth though. I will say that. I always make sure my dark chocolate's in every day, even through prep. I just think it just keeps you sane. But yeah, I just thought I'm not tracking my food and my workouts I was kind of just doing on my own, and then my leg days I started doing with a PT. So I didn't swap coaches. But yeah, I just needed someone to push me because I feel like I was not believing in myself of how heavy I could go. I've never been a girl that's like, I want to be a power lifter or I want to lift as heavy as possible. I've just sort of, you know, done it till it hurts and then give up after that. But he really pushed me to go that next level and lift heavier and just doing the same exercises each week. And yeah, working on that and getting stronger.
Yeah, give Zach a bit of a shout out because he did do a magnificent job.
Yeah.
Was it BBL coaching?
Yeah, so his group's called BBL Coaching. But yeah, Zach Lockwood, he really helped me, and he's genuinely like wants to see you do well, and he loves Scott, so he really respects him, and yeah, he's kind of a bit fangirl over you, I think.
Well, I'll tell you
Two
what,
bold men.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been watching his Instagram because I'm trying to get some ideas of how he goes about it. He's got a very good success rate when it comes to building glutes. He's got quite the team behind him. So I admire him a lot. Charlie started working with him, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Charlie's glutes will be popping.
He started tracking food. Charlie's another one to be very like he just eats whatever he wants. So it's for him to track food is crazy. But yeah, Zach's got him.
For a lot of girls, Kirra, the transition from tracking to not tracking is actually more terrifying than anything else. Do you think there's a reason why you can make that transition so comfortably and easily? And do you experience any anxiety when you see that contest condition fade away? Because that can be a very difficult thing for a lot of competitors to let go post-show.
Initially, yes. I think definitely in your first couple of shows, it's a hard thing. I think you get addicted to that looking lean and stuff, but now as I've matured in the sport, I just appreciate my body so much more. And I think being a mum as well, I actually don't really love how I look those last couple of weeks. I tend to cover up more when I'm at the gym. Like I look at myself, I'm like, oh God, people think I'm probably something wrong with me, because you do get scary lean coming in those last couple of weeks. So I actually look forward to putting on a little bit of body fat. So the quicker the better. I don't actually mind. So yeah, and I think you've said it to me before, like I'm sure your partner, like, because I think I might have been in my first prep a bit like, I don't really want to do my check-in photos, and you're like, you know what, Charlie probably loves it that you've put on a bit of body fat too, like just, you know, appreciate your body and what it's done for you.
Yeah.
And how has your training transition, Kirra, over the years? Like you said before, a bit of an old school hardcore style, maybe watching your mum train and figure, and nowadays, you know, working on specific body parts for bikini competition. How's your training evolved, and do you enjoy it more now than what you did previously, or is it, do you find it a little bit restrictive in some of the body parts that you can train to fit in a certain division?
Yeah, I think understanding it more makes it more enjoyable. So you kind of can really, you know, mind to muscle kind of vibe. You kind of can picture those body parts growing as you're training. But yeah, back in the day, like it was like more, you didn't really track anything, or you just smashed yourself in the gym. So it definitely is a lot more enjoyable. And back then too, we didn't really follow programs or anything like that either. I think mum was more
mum
like,
think of where you are now and what you're doing?
Oh yeah, she's proud. She's proud. I wish she could have come overseas, but yeah, she sort of reached like pro status and things like that. But again, it wasn't really a thing back then. I can't remember, she did like worlds, and she won worlds in one of the federations. But yeah, again, figure was similar to bikini back then. So she's sort of like, you've got more muscle than me. Yeah. So
what
it's
is
funny
mum's name, so we can look
evolved.
her up? What was your mum's name?
Helen Longmuir.
Helen Longmuir. I have to check it out.
Yeah.
And Kirra, have you got a new kick of motivation since standing on those pro stages? Because in Australia, you're definitely one of the more muscular bikini girls, and most of the time we've been downplaying your upper body, avoiding upper body pumps and all that sort of stuff because you look like the most jacked girl up there most of the time. But a little bit of a different story standing on the pro stage. Are you coming back with the intention of now growing up to that level?
Yeah, it was quite cool to see actually, and that's my main reason I wanted to go over. I sort of went in with zero sort of expectations of placing or even doing well. I really just wanted to see those pros in person because pictures and videos is so much harder to tell their size and conditioning. And yeah, seeing them in person, standing next to them, you sort of really start to realize they do have a lot of size. But I know it's achievable as well. So it kind of did motivate me and gave me that little push that I'm like, yeah, I'm actually almost there. Main sort of feedback from the judges was just a bit of growth all over, which is awesome. And then mainly glutes and just a little bit tighter conditioning as well, which I know I can do because normally I'm too lean. So
yeah. What was your favorite look of this past year? Because we did have some leaner, drier looks probably at the start of season A, and then the Texas show was a much bigger, much fuller look, but lost a little edge in conditioning, and then we probably tightened it back up a little bit for the LA show. Which look did you prefer the most?
Of my overseas pro shows?
Of all the 5 shows you did this season.
Out of my 5 shows, I would say probably Nationals. That's probably the one most people were like, you were just so full and lean and good conditioning. But then when I look at photos and videos, I actually like my Gold Coast showing as well. So I don't know if it's just the lighting or photos, but Gold Coast was really one of my favorite shows. I think just the audience and the vibe was just really electric there because I had all my friends and family.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit scarred from Kaiser's pro debut where she was told she was in no uncertain terms far too hard, far too conditioned, and was completely disregarded from the placings on the basis of it. So I was definitely leaning much towards a fuller, rounder look for that Texas show. And I think we achieved it. Like you were probably, 2.5 kilos heavier than Nationals at that show, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. My too much information, but my period actually came the day of show. So I was very healthy, which is great. But just as a girl, you just feel not your best, but it didn't really hinder me in any way. I'm not saying it, ruined my look or anything. So I actually really liked the Texas look. I actually really loved the glaze the tanners did there too. I don't know if you noticed, but we looked a bit matte in the LA show.
Yeah, I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the glaze in Texas, they were very hands-on and just, I don't know, they rubbed the glaze all over you, which is really nice.
Wow, on 47 bikini girls. It's a hell of an effort. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I wonder if they do this for the amateurs or they just do it for the pros. I'm not sure.
How did you handle the logistics of overseas competing, Kirra? I travelled with my wife going back 8 years, and she competed in Singapore and Hong Kong, and she was a bikini competitor. And I'll tell you what, it was a mission. At one stage, we lost one piece of a bikini, and she forced me to call up reception and say that someone had broken into our room and stolen one part of a bikini, and then she found it behind the TV cabinet. So it was pretty manic traveling with a bikini competitor. It was for international travel. How did you find that?
Actually, surprisingly, I did quite well. Like, if you ask Scott, I'm a little bit, like I said, I just have this delulu thinking that everything will work out and I just rock up, right on time. But no, everything worked out. We stayed at the venue, which was really helpful. I wasn't running onto stage when they were calling my name or anything like that. I was there. I was prepared. It was actually super easy.
How'd you go?
It was really well organized.
How'd you go registering for the event, Kirra?
That's your fault. I'm going to blame you.
That's my thing.
Okay, that's a bit of a story. So, but I think it's something that needs to be spoken about because I've got a story about that too. So just for anyone that turns pro in the next couple of seasons, FYI, when you register for pro shows, you have to go on IFBB Pro League website to register, because I thought you just look up the shows which I think is the normal thing to think. And yeah, you just register on their website, which is what I did, which means I registered as an amateur and I paid money to register. And then apparently you don't have to pay when you're a pro. And then they announced the pro lineup because they were so proud of it at the Texas show. They were like, we've got 46 pros. This is the list of names. And I was like, my name's going to be there. This is like a moment.
Oh,
and
no.
my name wasn't there. My name wasn't on the list. So I was like, oh my God, I panicked. And I read on the website, if you don't register by 3 p.m. that day, you can't register. And I was like, oh my God, I'm fucked. I flew all the way to America and now I can't do the show. So, and then I opened WhatsApp. Scott's already messaged me the screenshot of the list going, where's your name? And I was like, I've got the screenshot of the thing that says I'm registered. What do you mean? I sent it to him. He goes, you're registered as an amateur. And I was like,
no.
This could only happen to me, I swear.
Fault. That's the coach's fault.
I'm blaming him.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's not something that you kind of just know when you turn pro. But also, like, another girl in Australia, she just messaged me recently. She's about to do season C, and she's like, "Hey, baby, you gonna do season C?" And I was like, "Oh no, I can't. I just got my pro card last season, and I can't compete in Australia anymore." And she's like, "Oh," I'm like, "So people need to know this." So I hope anyone watching, if you turn pro, make sure you register on IFBB Pro. And you're going to pay for your pro card too.
47 bikini pros all backstage. Was that a friendly environment? Was there a bit of tension? What was it like?
No, it was actually wildly, wildly friendly. Like, amazing. I think because we're all in the same mindset. Once you win your pro card, we're there for business. We're not there for, like, you know, we're not being bitchy, or we're all just in our own, I guess, league and just warming up, doing our thing. I met up with some girls that, you know, I admired online, and they were super friendly, and, you know, we all sort of keep in contact afterwards. So it would be good to catch up with them again when I do more shows.
You've got a pretty big following online here in Australia. How into the industry are you from an online presence perspective when you got so much else going on in your life? Because for some girls, it is the be all and end all, and you know, their likes and engagement makes or breaks their day. Do you pay much attention to the social media? Because you turn out to be very good at it.
Well, they normally, when they sort of tell you how to market yourself and stuff online, they say normally just direct yourself to one niche. So basically just your whole page should be just one thing. But mine's like hair, chickens, Kendall, bodybuilding, hair, chickens. Like, and that's my brain. Like, that's a good display of how my brain is. That whole mix of just everything. But yeah, I'm a good person to follow if you like a bit of everything. But yeah, I don't really just hone in on one thing. But I do get quite obsessed with my little hobbies.
But you're not upset if one post gets 1,000 likes and the next one gets 400 likes?
I couldn't care less. I could not care less.
It's a very good way to be, Kirra. Very good way to be.
Authenticity. I think that's what it is. You're posting all the real life stuff. It doesn't look too fake, and I think people do appreciate that. Have you had many inquiries about potential coaching as a PT since your success, or people know that you sort of got your own businesses and it's not on the cards?
No, it is actually on the cards. I'm actually halfway through my PT course. I've only got like 4 lessons to go because I'm doing like an in-person one. So you don't have to do videos and things like that. More so because I'd like to teach people how to track macros, because it was so life-changing for me, and I didn't learn it till I was in my 30s. So, and the amount of people who still say to me now, they're like, "Oh yeah, so you must like not eat much, and you know, yeah, I fast in the morning till 11." I'm like, ew, like, why are you telling me this? Like, that's not the way. So, and obviously I work with so many women. Like, I've got, you know, 20 to 30 staff at a time. We get 20 to 30 people in at a time on a normal day. So yeah, it's a good thing to spread the word. I think I don't ever want to coach like athletes. That's not really in my genre. But yeah, lifestyle coaching I definitely would love to do. And yeah, start out with like the people around me and teaching them.
Kirra, take us through an average day for you, because you are a mum, a business owner, and an athlete. And I'm somewhat startled by the fact that you want to take on some sort of coaching role as well. How is this going to all work? Like, what's an average busy day for Kirra?
My life's a kerfuffle, really. Like, it makes me laugh when people are like, wow, you just must be so organized. I'm like, I'm just a hot mess. But you just prioritize. I think you just find time for the things that need to get done, and then you've got time to do the rest of the stuff that you want to do. So yeah, I'd probably just set aside a day to do like check-ins and things like that. But then I obviously have days off and do them then. And then, yeah, I do like 3 days on the floor in the salon, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Saturdays I've got Kendall, obviously, and our salons are closed the rest of the days, but we do like wages and all the behind the scenes sort of stuff to running a business. But yeah, generally I'll train in the morning. I like training in the morning. Get it done before, school drop off and things like that. Get home, get Kendall ready, and then off to work. So I'm fitting you guys in before going to work today.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. What are you expecting when you get to the salon today? Are there any fires that need to be put out, or are things running pretty well? Because how many do you have? Is it 3 currently?
Yeah, we've got 3 hair salons and 1 barbershop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do they run relatively autonomously? Obviously, as a business owner, you have to have a presence there, but are things somewhat under control? Are you at a different salon each day?
Yeah, that's so basically I pick and choose my clients because I've done hairdressing for 22 years now. So I've got clients that have followed me the whole way through. And then generally they pick which salon they want to go to, and I'll meet them there. But I'll generally go to each one each day. So yesterday I was in Cleveland, the day before I was in Bundle, and today's I'm at Marina Mirage in Main Beach.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I spread myself very thin, but I like to pop in and see the salons, and yeah, have meetings with the girls if we need to put out any fires. I think that's the main thing with business, is putting out fires before they become huge and take over. But yeah, like generally we have pretty good teams. They look after it for us. Like when we went overseas and everything ran, nothing fell apart. I did get broken into though. One of my salons got broke. Yeah. I think it's probably the 3rd time one of my salons has been broken into, but yeah, great time to happen.
What do they steal? What do they steal from a salon? Is it just trying to get the register, FPOS machine, or what are they going for?
Yeah, it's generally just cash, but like we don't keep much in the float. So it's normally just like $100 to $200 in the float. They took a few products, which surprised me because normally they don't touch the products, but normally it's obviously young kids or, not to be offensive, males. So they don't take the expensive things, because if it was a female, they would take straighteners and scissors because they're expensive. But men obviously like, we'll just take the cash.
You can be guaranteed if Scott or I broke into your hair salon, we would not be stealing any hair product, Kirra. I can tell you.
I would know.
Yeah, you would. Now, you mentioned some feedback about next time you get up on stage, you want to have a little bit more size, maybe a little bit more glutes. So what's the plan there? More calories, harder training, another year, just putting in effort? What's the plan to step things up?
Yeah, look, so I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna track my food this off season, make sure I'm eating enough. It's gonna make all the difference. Yeah. And yeah, probably just the same. I'll just train as hard as I can and lift heavy and grow my glutes some more, and see how we go.
It's good to get you on here, Kirra. It's just really an excuse for me to catch up and see what you have planned, since you promptly sacked me the moment you got off stage once again. So what are we? I love the way Kirra goes about things. I wasn't a shot. She's an excellent athlete. So what are we thinking in terms of timeline to the next show?
Thinking sort of same time next year. Yeah. So give me a proper full year. Like you saw the difference I made in even just 3 months from nationals to overseas was a huge growth that you could actually see. So I'm excited to see what a proper year will do, because even I only started training with Zach in September, then I competed in April. So I feel like I didn't even really have a full year there. So yeah, I'm excited to see the difference we can make.
As am I. As am I. What else, Kirra? In terms of your progression and, no offense, your age, do you think there's any limit to how far you can go in the sport? Or do you think you can what's the aspirations in terms of the loftiest goals?
Look, as long as my face looks young, I'll keep competing. Because that was actually I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I haven't actually ever done masters.
I've
And because
noticed.
this a wild thing I got told when I first did my first ever show. So I actually did a show before I was with Scott in 22. And I was told by someone that's quite well known in the industry, like, because I was like, oh, maybe I should do masters because like I'll be up against older people. It might be easier. It's not, by the way. We get better with age. Yeah, but she goes, I don't think you should do that. And I was like, why? She said, well, just imagine if you were up against a 21-year-old and you have the exact same physique, they might get, placed higher than you because they've got longer in the sport. And I was like, oh, shit. So I just never did masters because of that fear. But I will probably even give Masters Olympia a crack overseas. But again, they're beasts. Like I was looking at the masters girls in the pro shows and I was like, damn, I'm glad they're not in my section. They're great.
Yeah, the Masters Olympia is possible avenue to the Olympia Pro stage. So I was probably leaning in that direction myself. So I'm glad you said that, Kirra. I think that's a great opportunity to get an Olympia qualification if you do actually fit that criteria. So that would be fantastic. Are you going to try and hit up multiple shows? Because you do have a habit of getting better show to show. So is the plan to do a long overseas trip and hit up 3 or 4?
Yeah, so actually had spoken to Kate. She's from New Zealand, the pro from New Zealand, and her partner, and we met up in Texas and hung out backstage. And I think she placed 15th and I placed 16th. So, and then she went on to Chicago and won. So it definitely, I think it helps to do a lot of shows to give you better chances to get in, be in front of different judges, take the feedback. That's one thing I didn't do in Australia. I didn't really ever ask the judges for feedback because I was always just coming in my best. And one thing I'm really good at is picking myself apart in a positive way, but just like I'm not I don't put any emotion into, when I look at a winner, I'm like, fuck yeah, they deserved it because I can see what they have over me. Whereas I think a lot of people maybe see feedback to be a negative thing sometimes if they're like, why didn't I win? And it's not about that. It's about how you can improve. And I feel bad if the judges feel like, people are attacking them, so I never really asked in Australia. But in a pro show scenario, it's definitely important. And you can line up and get your feedback immediately straight after the show. They literally go back. And even in the 47 girls one, they remember every single person. Amazing. And they're like, oh, yeah, you had the blue bikini. Like, you just need to be a bit tighter. Like, yeah, it was really cool. So, it's definitely, you can go from show to show and just keep improving from what they tell you. And then you eventually can just win and get an Olympia qualification.
Oh, great plan.
Yeah, nice. And anything that you'd like to say, Kirra, any sponsors or any shout outs for people who have helped you on your journey that you'd like to give a bit of a plug right now?
I don't really have many sponsors, to be honest. So
for prospective sponsors,
there you go, opportunity.
No, but I get my supplements all from Red Dragon, and also I got sponsored by Wolfpack, which is the backpacks that have the Velcro patches. But yeah, big shout out to Zach for helping me grow my booty, which I shouted out every show, and obviously Scott for being so awesome and chill, and excited and bringing me in, the perfect conditioning for the shows as well. But yeah, that's about it really.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Kirra, I must say you have an amazing attitude. You take the serious things serious and you take the non-serious things very non-seriously. And it's an absolute joy to work with you as a result. And I think the outcomes speak for themselves. If you put in the hard work and you focus on the big picture stuff and you don't sweat the little stuff, maybe you could be as successful as Kirra to all those that are listening. Certainly appreciate you coming and joining us on this podcast. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you say, even if you do say it from a, what is it, Delulu? Is that the phrase that you like
Delulu,
to use?
yeah.
Delulu perspective. Well, Kirra, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Cannot wait until you contact me approximately 14 weeks out of your next show, and we'll start the
11.
process again. 11, yeah, that's right. Because we're already early. So each contest season gets shorter, Luke, because she gets ready early. Yeah. Yeah, 11 weeks it is. We can do it. Kirra. So thank you again for all those that have listened. Please like and subscribe. Give Kirra a follow on the socials. Hit her up at Trends Hair Salons, and maybe get some macro tracking advice off her as well. So thank you very much, Kirra.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.